That is not normal.
Well, if everything else was like 48 and 49, it should be 50 across the board.
Oh, they tripped. 46. They tripped on that too.
Meanwhile,
fervor going in this one. We're back to the East versus West. Carl Anthony Towns going coast to coast.
Between Jaden Ivey and Benedict Matt.
Set the record, franchise record.
It's been a while since an All-Star weekend has truly captivated basketball fans.
Let's go home. Let's go home.
And today, it really seems like the NBA All-Star weekend is broken. Let's walk through what people are saying the problem is and what needs to change and what hope is left to build on for the future of the NBA All-Star weekend. Let's start off with the Rising Stars games. This was actually a good idea. They kept these games short and concise. Nowadays, that's exactly what people need. People aren't as likely to sit around for 2 to 3 hours anymore to watch players run up and down the court.
Don't let your kids watch it.
Unless there's something they're actually competing for. That said, this isn't just an NBA problem, it's happening in other sports as well. John Hollinger from theathletic.com mentioned All-Star games in other sports have had the same problem. The underlying issue in each is that the players have become too valuable to risk injuring themselves in an exhibition. Baseball's Midsummer Classic is now limited by the inherent risk to pitchers. The Pro Bowl is now a flag football game, and the NHL All-Star game is a series of 3-on-3 skaters. Major League Soccer invited vastly better players from Arsenal to smoke its stars last summer. Nonetheless, there should be ways to improve this around the edges, and one of the ways is to change the format to more organically pull the plug on extreme ridiculousness. So, going back to the Rising Stars game, this is a prime example of what could change overall in the NBA All-Star weekend. Changing the amount of players into smaller teams with a target score and elimination draws the attention of fans. It's the same thing with social media. People don't have time to watch a 10-minute video on Instagram, but they'll easily watch a 10-second reel. Anyway, let us know in the comments if you think using the Rising Stars format would be a good idea to replace the All-Star game. Now, the skills competition wasn't bad, aside from players not knowing where they are going in the court, but it was a fun mix-up to have the team top picks, team pacers, and team All-Stars for this. We don't have much to say on that, but the three-point competition never disappoints. That said, we're not sure why they didn't have Steph or Luka involved, since Steph is still the top three-point shooter in the league and Luka is second. Instead, they had Malik Beasley, who is number 6 on the three-point leaderboard in 2023-24 season, Trae Young, who is 11th, Damian at 14th, though he's the winner from the year before, Jalen Brunson at 21st, Tyrese Halliburton 26th, and Catman at 34th. And obviously, they could have just declined their invitation to the contest, but there was still other All-Star players that could have competed, such as Jason Tatum at 8th, Paul George 9th, and Tyrese Maxey at 12th. Regardless, we'll say it was still a good time. Bringing in the Sabrina versus Steph competition was also a very cool addition. It was evident that fans loved it. What if the NBA added some more 1v1 competitions? Would that be a good idea? Let us know. But now we've got to get to the dunk contest. This is where things are starting to go downhill. What was once a competition that brought people out of their seats is now becoming a competition that people shrug their shoulders at. Could this be from the scoring by the judges? Those in the past who were robbed of winning? Aaron Gordon. The dunk contest today just isn't the same anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, the players that participated weren't bad, but we know players like Russell Westbrook, Anthony Edwards, Aaron Gordon, LeBron, and so many others who have explosive dunks and never participated. The question is, did they decline their invitations if they had any? Stephen A. Smith is convinced that LeBron is the reason for ruining the dunk contest.
There's only one person to blame for the lack of high-profile players participating in the dunk contest. His name is LeBron James. LeBron James is directly responsible for ruining the slam dunk contest.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes, he is. The slam dunk contest from 1985 to 1997, 5 of the 13 slam dunk contests were won by future Hall of Famers Jordan twice, Dominique Wilkins twice, Kobe once. Michael Jordan participated in the contest 3 times. Dominique Wilkins 5 times. Every high jumper, every skywalker, every above the rim talent salivated for the opportunity to compete in the slam dunk contest. It stopped when LeBron James said, "I'm not doing it." And from that point forward, the stars who followed didn't feel compelled to prioritize a slam dunk contest.
People just aren't impressed anymore. The dunks aren't as creative, the judges don't seem to score fairly, and it has players that aren't as explosive as others who could be in the contest. Even though Mac McClung put on a great show, fans just aren't gravitating like they used to be. But hey, the LED court was cool, right? Aaron Gordon made a tweet after the contest, "I probably could have got second in this year's dunk contest." Others, like Joel Embiid, said, "I'm a professional hater, but I'm not hating when I say I could win the dunk contest with these scores, but not sure the knees will allow it." The dunk contest just doesn't hit the same anymore. The dunk contest every year since Aaron Gordon stopped doing them. Even though Aaron Gordon never won the dunk contest, he is widely known as one of the best dunkers in the event's history. It could even be argued that Gordon may be the greatest dunker the event has witnessed, despite somehow never winning, placing second twice and having the most 50s in the contest is history. While this dunk contest did have some solid dunks, the reality is that almost every dunk at this point has been done in a game or already seen before. It's hard to come up with something that will surprise everyone. That said, this is what made Aaron Gordon's 2 dunk contest so special, because he was making dunks that no one had ever done before and what seemed like it could never be done. Let's be real, the 2016 dunk contest will likely never be touched again.
Did on that makes you understand what a dunk contest.
That creativity is exactly what we need. Now, last but not least, the All-Star Game. In a game where 397 points were scored and only 3 fouls made, it's clear that there was absolutely no defense. It's gotten to the point where the lack of defense is almost comical. It was the highest scoring All-Star Game ever. After bringing back the East versus West format, many were anticipating a change that would hopefully go in the right direction. And though it was a good idea compared to the previous format, the same problem still took place: no competitiveness. When the East won, it was the first time ever that a winning team passed 200 points. So it's obvious this was more like a pickup game than a real game. So how do we save the NBA All-Star Weekend? It seems that the dunk contest and the All-Star Game are the 2 main factors that need change. Some have suggested to combine the in-season tournament and All-Star Weekend, though the in-season tournament was also created to have something exciting around the start of the season, so fans didn't have to wait till February for the All-Star Weekend. Joe Varden at TheAthletic.com gave this idea, and to further add thought to this, he mentioned to put more money in the in-season tournament, move the Final Four around the season's midpoint, celebrate the All-Stars with a ceremony that weekend, and then have an All-Star Saturday night between the Final Four and the Finals. Afterward, the entire league takes a week off. Others mentioned to take away the All-Star Game completely. Is that too much? What would they do to replace that? Or should they just change it to the format we mentioned earlier? The gimmick around this idea is that the NBA will still pick 12 All-Stars from each conference, but have them also participate in the Saturday night events. Another problem is the winning bonus of only $100,000, but if they lose, they'll still get $25,000. But in the in-season tournament, they get $500,000. Let's break this down a little bit. The lowest paid All-Star player was Tyrese Maxey, and the in-season tournament bonus is about 12% of his salary, whereas the All-Star Game is only 2%. The point is, the incentive is not there. The $500,000 is big enough to matter to lower-level players who get to participate in the in-season tournament, which will likely drive All-Star players to want their teammates to win in something pretty big. But with All-Star players making from $4 million to $51 million this year alone, you can see it's not making much of an impact on them financially. Though money shouldn't really matter here, it's still part of the conversation. The stakes to help a whole team win a bigger prize hits harder than a bunch of All-Stars winning $100,000. At the end of the day, it's probably safe to say that no amount of money would really change the narrative, so why not just go back to where players took the game seriously, since this is the only time of the year where we get to see the best of the best compete.
I think the All-Star Game in general needs a little revamping, because it used to be competitive.
Further, games in the in-season tournament counted within the season. And if you made it to the finals, it showed what kind of team you were at the start of the season. But now the All-Star Game feels more like an exhibition. Some have also claimed that the All-Star Game worked for a number of years, and the reality is, now it doesn't. So the NBA should try something new to attract fans. This could be moving the skill challenge, 3-point contest, and dunk contest to Sunday, and get the biggest All-Stars to compete in them. Obviously, a major reason why players aren't going hard in the All-Star Game is to reduce the chances of injury. And that does make sense, because at the end of the day, people are paying good money to see the best players come together and play in the same arena. Another idea could be from Jeff Malett at theathletic.com. Create a 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 half-court tournament format with prize money and eliminate the Sunday game. The leading vote getters could pick their teams, and the games would be short, 8 minutes with a running clock, or the first to a designated score, 11 or 15 points. You'd think a more open floor would reduce any concerns related to contact injuries because there are fewer players.